I am Tricia Duffy. I'm a podcaster and I'm also a songwriter and a creative person, and I strive to live a creative life, a life with creative balance. The podcast is called In 10 Years' Time, How to Live a Creative Life. On my podcast, I talk about the value of living with creative balance. I believe that to be human is to be creative, and I also believe that it's a human right to be creative. And there are so many benefits of living with creativity, everything from the impact it has on those of us unfortunate enough to be impacted by dementia, right through to just, a general sense of well-being, reducing stress, feeling connected with our communities. So the benefits of having any kind of creativity, regardless of the outcomes of that creativity, in other words, how good or bad or otherwise that creativity or output might be, just the very act of creating has so many, many huge benefits. And I want everyone to know that they are creative, regardless of what stage of life they might be in. I was completely convinced of this idea that I had, that we could live a different kind of life if we use this long-term planning or vision setting process that I call In 10 Years' Time, coupled with small daily steps, and we will be able to live with better creative balance and feel instantly more aligned with our future selves. I initially thought it was a podcast, and I recorded some demos, and then I, about a year later, had not proceeded with that and decided that perhaps it was a book, and I scoped out all the chapters of a book, and I even wrote a couple of chapters, and then I lost confidence in that as well and put it to one side. But I had a big epiphany and a big sort of sureness come over me in January 2023 when I thought, no, it is a podcast. In 10 years' time, how to live a creative life. I'm absolutely sure I know what I need to do. And so I started doing the research that I needed to do and collating all the information that I required in order to be able to create the podcast that you can now listen to. Well, my podcast is a research-based podcast. So it's a primarily solo podcast. So there's a big trend at the moment for podcasts that are one or two people with a bit of banter and chemistry between them. And there is also a trend for interview podcasts. But my podcast follows neither of those trends because no innovation ever came from following trends. So we have to buck the ideas. And it's a solo podcast, and it's a research-based podcast. So I spend a lot of time, thousands of hours, researching all of the different content, and then I distill it into a very small number of minutes so that other people can learn from everything that I've looked at. And I experiment on myself as well on a daily basis with the things that I'm trying to kind of teach and offer to the listener. I really love the research, actually. The research is unbelievably gratifying, digging deep into all of the issues and finding ways to be able to kind of take one hypothesis or theory and apply it in a new way is really gratifying. So I would have to say that the thing I love the most about my podcast is the research. I would say definitely do it. Starting this podcast has been such an amazing journey. I've learned so much. It sounds like a total cliche, doesn't it, to say that, but I just feel that my life is so much richer for having this podcast and having gone out there and created this content. And it is relatively easy in terms of a point of entry to create a podcast. The only kind of disclaimer to that is that it is like a hungry mouth that needs to be fed. So it does take up quite a lot of time. But if you are anything like me and you find your topic completely and utterly fascinating, then actually there's no other way I'd rather be spending my time, my most precious commodity, than working out ways that I can live a more authentic, creative life and sharing them with all of my lovely listeners. You can listen to the podcast anywhere that you stream your pods by searching In 10 Years' Time, or you can go onto my website, which is in10yearstime.com, and you can listen to them right there. Thank you so much.